In the third year of being Caleb's beautiful, temporary thing, Leo asked him a question, a sliver of hope in his voice. He wondered, if he were to die, would Caleb feel anything at all? Caleb cut him off before he could finish. No. His expression was a mask of indifference as he warned Leo to stop with the useless mind games. There were others who looked like him, he reminded Leo icily. Did he understand? Leo's fingers tightened around the lab report hidden in his pocket, his mouth forming a wounded pout. So cruel. He couldn't even offer a small, kind lie. Leo didn't have many days left. The oppressive midday sun beat down on the athletic field, making his head spin. He had considered showing the diagnosis of a rare, terminal illness to get out of the mandatory physical education class, but he couldn't. The night before, holding that same report, he had tried to ask Caleb the question that truly mattered, masking its weight with a playful tone. He'd asked if death might grant him a tiny, permanent space in Caleb's heart. Just a small one. He promised he would curl up tight, take up almost no room, and stay out of his way. Caleb's face had hardened, interpreting the question as a threat. His voice was a shard of ice when he warned Leo that his resemblance to another was not unique. Without him, there would be thousands of others. He told Leo not to overestimate his own importance. Caleb was harsh, telling him to stop acting out and that he had no interest in collecting his corpse. Leo had crumpled the report in his palm, his nose wrinkling. He wasn't threatening him. He wasn't that malicious. His final goodbye would remain unspoken, lest it upset Caleb and be dismissed as melodrama. The coach's sharp voice, announcing the end of practice, barely pierced the fog in his mind. The next second, darkness consumed him. He was jolted awake by a harsh grip. His eyes fluttered open to Caleb's face, a study in flawless, infuriating perfection. His fingers dug into Leo's sharp chin, his voice thick with suppressed rage. He demanded to know who Leo had been trying to seduce and who had changed his clothes. Leo was confused, his throbbing head feeling as if it had been run over. He looked around, trying to piece things together. It looked like the campus nurse's office. He must have fainted on the field. Caleb, devoid of patience, squeezed his face, forcing his lips to pucker. He told him to speak. Leo's answer was muffled and weak. He didn't know, his head hurt so much. Caleb scoffed, convinced it was an act. He shoved Leo's face away and wiped his fingers with a wet wipe, a look of profound disgust on his face. He sneered, remarking on how clever it was for Leo to faint into someone else's arms. Before Leo could deny it, Caleb added that such tricks were useless on him. If Leo couldn't keep himself clean, he would be replaced with someone who could. Leo insisted he hadn't faked it, that he had truly collapsed because he was sick. But Caleb wouldn't listen. He took a call and left in a hurry, a sense of urgency radiating from him. Leo lay there for a long time, wondering what could be so important. Then he remembered. Julian, the man Caleb cherished, was returning to the country today. For that, Caleb hadn't touched Leo in a week. With the original's return, the stand-in's role was about to end. Leo managed a bitter smile. His final payment would likely be a ferry ride across the river Styx. A long, detailed explanation remained a draft in his text messages, never sent. Clutching his phone, he threw himself onto the small bed of the condo Caleb had bought for him off campus, a convenient location for Caleb to resolve his needs at any time. He pressed his face hard into the pillow, his fist a dull drum against his skull. The pain was explosive, a bomb detonating behind his eyes. He finally gave in and dialed Caleb's number, large tears soaking the pillowcase as the phone rang unanswered. A polite, Automated voice informed him the person he was trying to reach was unavailable. Leo had expected it. He must be with Julian now. A reunion after a long separation. Julian had gone abroad for treatment their senior year of high school. Caleb stayed, attending the same college as Leo. The day after graduation, Caleb had asked Leo to be his lover. There is a warmth to affection, and Caleb could see that Leo loved him. Leo had once asked him why it had to be him. Caleb's answer was simple. He looked like Julian, and his voice was similar. Julian's health was frail, and Caleb's own periodic volatility was becoming resistant to inhibitors. He needed an outlet, and Leo was the perfect candidate. He truly, deeply loved him. Even being a substitute was a kind of bliss. For 3 years, Leo had learned every one of Caleb's habits. He knew the only time Caleb wouldn't answer his phone was when he was with Julian. Leo hugged the comforter, curling into a ball, the emotional pain making him dizzy. The thought of Caleb with that beautiful, fragile boy, doing the things they had done, was an agony. His mind drifted. If Julian hadn't returned today, what would Caleb have done? Perhaps, like before, he would have spared a rare sliver of gentleness, asking where it hurt, followed by a kiss, an embrace, a soft word of comfort. He hated Julian. If his heart surgery hadn't been successful, Leo could have been his stand-in forever, staying with Caleb for a very, very long time. He pulled at a strand of his own hair, chastising himself for his wicked thoughts. Even if Julian hadn't returned, he was still going to die. It was a hopeless fantasy. The pain brought a moment of clarity. With his last ounce of strength, he dialed 911. But just before his finger could press the call button, his arm fell limp. He looked as if he were asleep, peaceful and harmless, a faint smile on his lips. In that final, fleeting second before his eyes closed, he had seen a notification at the top of his phone's screen. A message from Caleb. It was a single, stark question mark. An uncontrollable joy bloomed in his chest. It meant Caleb wasn't being intimate with Julian. When consciousness returned, he thought he had simply fainted again, like at practice. He sat up, reflexively reaching for his phone, but his hand met only air. His own hand was transparent, the phone's glowing screen superimposed within his palm like an embedded object. He stared for a second, then his gaze slowly shifted down. His body was still on the bed, motionless, the healthy color draining from his cheeks. Before his mind could process it, the phone rang. It was Caleb. Leo's lips curved into a happy smile. He was with Julian but still found time to call. He had to have a small place for him in his heart. In contrast to his spiritual excitement, his physical form was slowly growing cold. The screen, lit for too long, went dark. He tried again and again to grab the phone, frustrated by his inability to touch it. The phone buzzed twice. He was grateful he hadn't set a passcode, allowing him to clearly see the incoming texts. The first read, "What game are you playing now? Faking your own death?" The second, "Stop it. If you behave, I won't get rid of you." Leo didn't understand. Was this a confession? He wanted him. Then what about Julian? Suddenly, a flash of white light, and he was in an unfamiliar mansion. The place was bustling with staff, all catering to the beautiful and delicate Julian. Kept indoors for years, Julian was as pale as porcelain. He bit into a grape and spat it out with a frown, complaining it was sour and questioning the staff's competence. They apologized profusely, but he ignored them, running barefoot into a study without knocking. He whined to Caleb to come play with him, that he didn't want to be alone. Leo felt a shiver of revulsion. A grown man acting so childish. Caleb was at his desk. He looked up and his first glance was at Julian's bare feet on the cold floor. His tone was tepid as he told him to put on shoes. Julian opened his arms, pouting, demanding to be carried. Caleb hesitated for only a second, but it was enough for Julian to throw a tantrum, smashing what looked like a priceless antique vase. He accused Caleb of falling in love with his replacement, questioning why he hesitated to hold him when he never hesitated with Leo. Leo held his breath, floating right up to Caleb's face, his eyes wide with anticipation. He willed Caleb to answer, to admit he had fallen for him. Caleb's eyelashes fluttered, and for a strange moment, his gaze seemed to meet Leo's. Leo's heart leaped. Could he see him? But in the next instant, Caleb moved through him, walking toward Julian. He lifted him into his arms, stepping over the porcelain shards, and asked softly if his hands were hurt. As Caleb carried Julian away, his back receding down the hall, Leo watched. Caleb found Julian's slippers in the living room and knelt to put them on for him. Leo pouted. He wasn't envious. Caleb had not only put shoes on for him, but had also taken them off. A lot. Leo flushed and floated to a mirror. His form was flawless, translucent, a crystalline texture. There was no color to see. Through the mirror, he saw Julian settle onto Caleb's lap, his arms wrapping around his neck. This was not okay. Leo zipped back to them, trying to push Julian's shoulders, to pry his hands away, finally collapsing onto the coffee table in exhaustion, glaring at the intimate pair. Julian glanced shyly at the staff, who all lowered their heads and retreated. Satisfied, Julian leaned close to Caleb's ear and whispered a request for Caleb to carry him to the bedroom and make love to him. No, no, no. Leo shot up, raising a hand in protest. He phantomly tugged at Caleb's ear, threatening him fiercely. His body wasn't even cold yet. He demanded a little respect for the dead. Caleb seemed to feel something, tilting his head, but Julian pulled his face back. Julian grumbled that this was the 38th time Caleb had been distracted that day, and questioned if Julian even had a place in his heart. Caleb subtly flexed his fingers, suppressing the discomfort of being touched so much. A faint smile touched his lips as he apologized, claiming he was thinking about work. Julian was easily placated. He pulled at Caleb's sleeve, his voice a childish whine, begging to be taken to the bedroom. It was Caleb's birthday, and he wanted to give him his first time. Caleb's mind drifted again. He seemed to have forgotten his own birthday. Leo smiled sadly. Such a bad memory for a CEO. For the past 3 years, on this day, Leo would cook a table full of his favorite dishes, buy a small cake, wine, candles, and wait for him in an outfit Caleb liked. A gift was always part of it. But this year, only the gift remained, and he hadn't had a chance to give it to him. He was crestfallen. Death was no fun at all. It was unclear what memory stirred in Caleb, but he loosened his tie and downed a glass of wine in one go. Julian noticed his eyes narrowing. He asked who Caleb was thinking of. That substitute? Caleb's fingers paused, his expression turning sour. He told Julian not to bring up irrelevant people on a perfectly good day. Julian's face cleared. He then asked why Caleb hadn't broken things off with him, saying that he was better now and could be there for Caleb during his volatile periods. Leo gritted his teeth, poking at Caleb's forehead. He doubted Julian's frail body could handle it. He didn't know how terrifying Caleb could be during those times. Julian would be broken in two, leaving Caleb all alone. Who would tie his ties, pack his lunch, and tolerate his terrible moods? And as for Caleb, Leo pointed a finger at him. Irrelevant, What irrelevant person stays with you for 3 years? Caleb caught Julian's restless hands, his brow furrowed in annoyance. He told him to stop, that he'd just had surgery and the doctor said he needed rest. Julian was relentless, insisting Caleb could just be gentle. Leo's heart trembled. He didn't want to be here anymore, watching the man he loved in an intimate moment with someone else. Caleb pulled away from him, ruffling his hair. "Be good," he said, "I still have work." "Fine," Julian relented, then snuggled back into Caleb's arms, his face turned up with a smile. He told Caleb to call the substitute right now and end it. He promised to find Caleb a new one, someone who looked even more like him. Leo tried to pry Julian's hands from Caleb's back, salty tears filling his mouth as he chanted a desperate mantra. "Go ahead and call. He won't pick up. If he doesn't pick up, I won't hear it, and if I don't hear it, it didn't happen. I'm still Caleb's most perfect canary." But then the call connected. Leo froze, the tears shocked back into his eyes. Who answered the phone? A strange man's voice, heavy and serious, came through the line. "Hello? Are you a relative of Leo?" The voice was vaguely familiar. Leo frowned, trying to place it. Who did he know that could get into his condo? Caleb's eyes turned glacial. He demanded that Leo be put on the phone. The man on the other end hesitated for a few seconds before saying he couldn't. "Leo." Suddenly, Julian snatched the phone from Caleb's ear, hung up in front of him, and deleted all of Leo's contact information. Leo ground his teeth in fury, his private sparks with Caleb gone. Those were the little flames he had to beg for every day. Julian hugged Caleb's waist and rubbed against him like a cat. "That substitute isn't faithful," he said. "He's clearly in bed with that other man." "You're lying." Leo wanted to scream, covering Julian's mouth. "You're slandering me. I've been completely loyal." Caleb's breathing deepened, but he said nothing, seemingly accepting the accusation. Leo was frantic, circling him, pointing at his nose, utterly enraged. "You believe him? After how much I love you? Are you blind, Caleb?" He zipped around the ceiling in a fury. Suddenly, Caleb's phone rang again. It was an unknown number. The same man's voice spoke. "Excuse me, are you Leo's partner? There's some unfortunate news you should probably know." Leo suddenly remembered. It was him, Owen, the guy who found him on the street when he collapsed and took him to the hospital, handling his paperwork and payments. By a strange coincidence, he was the class president from high school, and he lived on the floor below Leo's condo. With Julian watching him, Caleb denied it. He wasn't his partner. A mocking smile touched his lips. "Just a toy to pass the time," he said. One he had grown tired of. "If you like him, you can have him." With that, he hung up. Julian, satisfied, hugged Caleb's arm. "I'm sleepy," he said. "Will you put me to bed?" Caleb's expression was unreadable as he carried Julian into the bedroom. Leo wiped his wet face, about to follow and supervise, when the world lurched. He was back in his small condo. The flash of a camera blinded him. The small room was crowded with police, a medical examiner, and his own body. Owen sat on the couch outside, his shoulders shaking with quiet sobs. His phone was on the table. Leo squatted in front of him, trying to hand him a tissue, but he couldn't understand why Owen was crying. They barely knew each other. After the death was ruled accidental due to illness, the police prepared to contact his family. Owen's voice was hoarse from crying. He has no family. That was true. He had no family. And Caleb didn't want him anymore. The phone on the table vibrated. It was a message from Caleb. "Did he make you feel good? You're so cheap, Leo." The two short lines pierced his eyes. his legs feeling as if they were filled with lead. Owen's face contorted with anger. He furiously typed a reply. "Leo is dead. Have some goddamn decency." The response was almost immediate. "So he's dead. Just a plaything. Tell me, how much money do you want?" Before his mind could stop buzzing, his soul was yanked back to the mansion. In the bedroom, the sound of a shower came from the bathroom. Julian was propped up in bed, holding Caleb's phone. The blue light of the screen cast an eerie, doll-like glow on his face. Leo floated above him, hanging upside down, watching as Julian deleted the recent messages one by one before blocking his number again. Took Leo a moment to understand what had happened. It was all Julian's doing. His unshed tears hung suspended as he gnashed his teeth, wanting to bite the little monster who had caused so much trouble. When Caleb emerged from the bathroom, toweling his hair, Julian was feigning sleep. Leo scoffed. So fake, so wicked. What did Caleb see in him? Other than being unable to bear children, in what way was he inferior to this conniving boy? And Caleb didn't even like kids. Perfect match. Caleb quietly picked up his phone and left the bedroom. He stood on the balcony and lit a cigarette. The acrid smell filled Leo's senses, and he wrinkled his nose, hiding behind the glass door. Why was he smoking again? He remembered, in their second year together, Caleb's company went through a crisis. He was under immense pressure, coming to Leo every day for release and picking up the habit of smoking. Leo was allergic to nicotine. Every time Caleb kissed him with the smell of smoke on his breath, he would break out in a rash. He never dared to tell him, afraid Caleb would stop coming. For a week, he insisted they be intimate in the dark. Caleb grew suspicious. In the darkness, he bit down on the back of his neck, asking if he'd been with someone else. The intensity of Caleb's presence sent a wave of heat through him, and he bit his lip, denying it. "Only you." Caleb, in a foul mood, bit his scent gland until it was red and swollen. Since Leo couldn't be marked, Caleb could only reapply his scent as soon as it started to fade. He turned on the light, sneering as he pulled Leo from under the covers. His eyes landed on his skin, and his pupils contracted. They weren't love bites. They were hives. He growled, asking what his mouth was for if not to speak. Caleb dressed him in a black mood and drove him to the hospital in the middle of the night. After that, he never smelled of smoke again. Leo had been thrilled, wrapping his legs around Caleb's waist and asking sweetly if he was worried about him. "Don't flatter yourself," Caleb had retorted, but a free hand came up to support him. He was just being stubborn. He was clearly worried. Why else would he be so careful to keep him from falling? Perhaps it was the memory of him that made Caleb extinguish the cigarette. Leo's lips had just started to curl upwards when Julian passed through him, sliding the balcony door open. "Why aren't you sleeping?" he asked, hugging a teddy bear, his eyes heavy with sleep. He burrowed into Caleb's chest, sniffing, then frowned. "You smoked again." "I don't like it." Leo's face fell. He hugged him again. The cigarette wasn't put out for him. How annoying. Caleb apologized softly, his brow furrowed in a way Julian couldn't see. He had some company matters to attend to. Julian refused to let him go. "You have to stay with me," he insisted. "I can't sleep. Come tell me a story." As Julian pulled Caleb back inside, Leo could see Caleb's patience wearing thin. He seemed troubled. Leo instinctively reached out to smooth the crease between his brows. "Don't frown, you'll get wrinkles." The last time he'd said that, Caleb had tilted his chin up, his voice low and husky with a hint of amusement. "Why? If I get ugly, will you stop?" He couldn't bring himself to say the word that followed. He had blushed, but now, as his hand passed through Caleb's forehead, his own face went pale. He really was dead. He could never touch him again, never hear his rare moments of indulgence and playful teasing. Well, looks like I'm interrupting. An unexpected guest arrived at the mansion. Jax, Caleb's childhood friend. With a shock of blonde hair, he swaggered in, having keyed in the password, a wide grin on his face. He slung an arm around Caleb's shoulder and gave Julian a flash of white teeth. "Sorry," he said. "Just need to borrow my buddy for a few minutes." "You don't mind, do you?" Julian forced a smile. Jax's family was more influential than his, so he didn't dare object. Caleb was led away by Jax to the mansion's rooftop. Jax tapped a cigarette from its pack and offered it to Caleb with a mocking tone. Feeling trapped? Caleb didn't speak or take the cigarette, his gaze fixed on his phone screen. He wasn't smoking anymore. Leo couldn't stand the smell. Leo's heart skipped a beat. Was he talking about him? It had to be. As long as he didn't use a name, he could pretend it was him. Jax let the cigarette fall from his fingers into Caleb's lap. He took a drag from his own, the white smoke coiling around him. As if he can smell it now. Caleb was silent for a moment, his brow knitting even tighter. He asked what Jax wanted. Jax snorted. It was about his precious boy. He explained that when Leo had fainted earlier, he had been the one to change his clothes. Caleb's gaze shot to him, cold and sharp. "Who gave you permission to touch him? Jealous?" Jax raised an eyebrow. Caleb paused, his gaze slowly becoming deep and still. He curled his lip. "I don't touch things that are unclean." Jax didn't bother to call out his lie. He got serious. Something's wrong with Leo. After he passed out today, he was burning up, hot enough to fry an egg. Jax was pre-med, and he thought it was strange, so he'd taken off his jacket to check. The campus nurse said it was just heat stroke, but Jax felt something was off. Soon, Leo's temperature dropped back to normal. A friend had called him for a game, so he called Caleb and left. Jax's expression grew grave. He had mentioned it to his older brother, a doctor who suspected it might be a rare disease. There had been a case at the university hospital with strikingly similar symptoms. He asked Caleb if he thought it could be. No, Caleb cut him off, his face dark. Then he laughed scornfully. "He's perfectly healthy. Busy getting tangled up with Owen lately. Didn't even answer his phone tonight." "Who's Owen?" Caleb answered flatly. "Leo's class president from high school." Jax was amused. "You even remember people who weren't in your class?" Jax found it fascinating, leaning closer to Caleb. How did he know more about Owen than he did? Jax himself had struggled to remember the name. He then asked if Caleb thought they were together tonight. Caleb gave a derisive snort. "Just a dog fighting for scraps." Jax glanced at the cigarette now lit between Caleb's fingers, a knowing smile playing on his lips. So much for not smoking. He tossed his own phone to Caleb. "Make the call. It's impressive you lasted the whole night." Caleb was too proud to be the first to reach out after a fight. It was always Leo who had to coax and placate him. If Caleb actually called him now, it would be a miracle. The miracle happened. Caleb called him, using Jax's phone, dialing his number from memory without a moment's hesitation. The surprise was so immense that Leo's spirit grinned from ear to ear. He actually remembered his number. The quiet night was filled only with the sound of the ringing phone. Caleb's dark eyes were fixed on the screen, the shadows in them deepening. No one answered. At the same time, Caleb's own phone rang. It was the private investigator he had sent to the condo. "Mr. Thorne, that, speak," Caleb's voice was dangerously low, like thunder before a storm. The man on the other end stammered, afraid but compelled to report. "The person you had me watch. He's in front of the window with a very handsome man. There." Caleb's face was a thundercloud. "Are you sure it's 2B? Apartment 501? "Yes, I'm sure. Light brown, slightly curly hair, very attractive, pale skin." Leo's heart sank. That was a perfect description of him. His apartment, his appearance. But he was dead. Before that call ended, Jax's phone showed a call back from Leo's number. Caleb answered so fast it was a blur, his voice rough and deep. "Leo." He didn't ask a question, as if waiting for Leo to spin a clumsy lie that he could then tear apart. But the voice on the other end was unfamiliar. "Hello, this is the police department. Are you a friend of Leo? There's been an incident." Before the officer could finish, Caleb violently hurled the phone against the wall. It shattered into pieces. Lies, all of it. He was seething, the veins in his neck standing out. He had always hated when people touched his things. In a way, Leo was his possession. And now, in his mind, Leo was not only tainted but had also dared to hire actors to deceive him. Jax calmly pulled another phone from his pocket. He stroked his chin. "Call again. I have a bad feeling. That cop didn't sound fake." Caleb, consumed by rage, lashed out. "You think you know him better than I do? Did he sleep with you? Is that why you're so eager to defend him?" Jax remained calm, accustomed to his friend's intermittent bouts of fury, always triggered by one person. "Is the Leo you know the type to cheat?" Jax stubbed out his cigarette. "Caleb, don't forget what kind of person Julian is." At the mention of his name, Julian appeared around a nearby corner, his smile sweet, clutching his teddy bear. A chill went down Jax's spine. He didn't even glance at Julian, just rubbed his arms in disgust. He told Caleb he was leaving. "Just hearing his voice makes me sick." The implication was clear. Caleb's expression was no better. He had no patience left to coddle the source of his misery. There was somewhere he needed to go, something he had to understand. Together, Caleb said, grabbing his coat to follow Jax. Unsurprisingly, Julian blocked their path, his lips pale as he clutched his chest. "Caleb, where are you going?" Caleb's brow furrowed. Jax was even more blunt. "Your heart surgery was a success. Aren't you tired of faking it every day? And while you're at it, remove the listening device you installed on Caleb's phone before you play the victim again." Leo looked back and forth, his already confused mind a complete mess. He only understood one thing. Jax seemed to despise Julian. But why? Julian was the person Caleb loved. Seeing Julian's reddened eyes and white lips, Caleb used his last shred of patience to soothe him. "Be good. Go to sleep first. I have something to do." "I can't sleep without you," Julian insisted, clutching his sleeve, tears rolling down his cheeks. He looked pitiful and fragile. Leo pursed his lips, remembering all the times he had cried messily in front of Caleb. No wonder Caleb preferred Julian. Who wouldn't prefer beauty? Jax looked on as if he couldn't stand it. "Have you been living with your eyes closed for the past 20 years? He asked with genuine bewilderment. Julian's face flushed. He didn't dare talk back, looking to Caleb for help. Caleb glanced at Jax. "Go wait for me downstairs." Jax snorted. "Having a friend like you is the one blemish on my otherwise perfect life." Leo couldn't help but laugh. He was funny, but Caleb wasn't a blemish. He was a good person, just not good to him. No matter how Caleb tried to appease him, Julian was determined not to let him leave. He bit his lip until it bled. Caleb, swear to me. Swear you're not going to see that substitute. Caleb rubbed his temples, weary and exasperated. Can you stop this? I've already agreed to marry you. What more do you want? I want you to stay tonight. Sleep with me. Only then will I feel secure. Julian stood on his toes to kiss Caleb, but Caleb turned his head away. Julian's eyes grew redder. You never kiss me. You've been lying to me all along. He walked step by step to the edge of the rooftop, a tragic smile on his face. Caleb, if you take one step away tonight, I'll jump from here. Down below, Jax leaned against the car, a cigarette dangling from his lips. He heard the commotion and scoffed. Here we go again. He shook his head, feeling a deep sense of pity for his friend. Caleb's hand tightened around his phone, his voice hoarse with exhaustion. Just come back here, okay? Then promise me, even if you don't love me, give me your child, Julian pleaded. Give me a child, and I will let you both be together. Caleb stared at him, his expression unreadable. Julian smiled. Caleb, I have eyes. You've never hidden your love for him. Who? Who did Caleb love? Leo floated between them, completely unaware that he was the subject of their conversation. Julian's face was a mask of beautiful sorrow. I saved your life. Giving me a child isn't too much to ask, is it? Caleb's thin lips moved. He extended a hand toward Julian. Fine. Come here. We'll go to the bedroom. No. Leo's eyes widened, and he spread his arms to block Caleb, but he was nothing but air. Julian took Caleb's hand, a triumphant smirk appearing on his face in the shadows. Let them be together? Please. Once he had a child, a permanent bond, Caleb could never escape him. Caleb was his. This life, the next, and every life after. While Caleb and Julian were distracted, Jax had already driven to Leo's condo. Seeing the police tape on the door, he kicked the wall, his face grim as he called Caleb. Get the hell over here. Stop playing out some stupid romantic tragedy. I think Leo's really in trouble. The call came as Julian was in the shower. Leo was desperately and uselessly begging Caleb to leave, not to do it, at least not in front of him. It would drive him insane. Jax's call was a lifeline. He was overjoyed and terrified. Even knowing he was dead, would Caleb really abandon Julian to find him? He watched Caleb's expression, seeing his face slowly stiffen as he asked in a strangled voice, "What do you mean?" Jax cursed on the other end. "I'm at Leo's condo. They're saying someone died here." Caleb's lips twisted into a rigid line. Stop playing along with his act. After tonight, I'll go and make things clear with him. Act my ass. Your wife is... Jax's words were cut off because Caleb hung up. Leo felt a small flicker of happiness. Jax had called him Caleb's wife. He was a good person. Caleb hung up the phone with an unnerving calm. But a closer look would have revealed that the hand holding his car keys was trembling slightly. He drove in silence. The traffic lights that night seemed particularly uncooperative. Caleb, usually so law-abiding, obeyed every single one. Leo sat in the passenger seat, not sure if he felt more disappointed or pleased. Obeying the lights meant he was a good citizen, but his unhurried pace didn't seem like that of a man who cared. The phone rang incessantly, call after call from Julian. Caleb ignored them as if he were deaf. His car came to a stop in front of the apartment building. He tapped his fingers on the steering wheel and sent Leo a text. I'm giving you one chance. Come down in the next 5 minutes. I can pretend I don't know about you and Owen. Leo watched his handsome profile, a sudden realization dawning on him. He looked a little panicked. The tapping fingers weren't a sign of confidence. but of a tremor he couldn't control. His gaze kept darting up to the dark window of the fifth-floor apartment. "Are you scared?" Leo asked softly. He suddenly didn't want Caleb to know he was dead. Death was frightening. Even if you didn't like someone, it would still be a shock. He gently patted Caleb's hand. "It's okay. It's not your fault. It wasn't because you were mean to me or because you didn't want me. I was just sick." Caleb saw Owen get out of a taxi, walking toward the building like a ghost. He got out of his car and intercepted him, adopting his usual air of a condescending superior. "Too pathetic, so Leo kicked you out?" Owen looked up from the shadow cast over him and recognized Caleb's voice. He laughed with even more derision. "Do you enjoy delivering money in person?" Caleb frowned, not understanding. Owen had no intention of explaining. He lowered his head and continued walking. As Caleb was about to stop him, his phone rang. It was Jack's. "Did you get here? Turn around and come to the nearest police station. Leo's gone. His phone is with the cops." Caleb didn't believe it. This time, Jax had gone too far, joking about something so serious. When he saw him, he would have to teach him a lesson. That's right. He was going to the police station to confront Jax, not because he believed the ridiculous lie. At the station, an officer handed the phone to Caleb. "Mr. Thorne, my condolences." Caleb let out a sarcastic laugh. Leo had really outdone himself, even bribing the police to get his attention. The officer's expression hardened. "Sir, please watch your language. We would never accept a bribe. We understand you're grieving." But Caleb heard nothing. He stared down at the phone, his trembling fingers failing several times to open the messages. In the drafts was the unsent explanation about fainting in class. He had written that he didn't intentionally fall into anyone's arms, that he didn't know who changed his clothes, only that when he woke up, he saw Caleb, and he had been so happy. The more he read, the calmer he became. He scrolled through the screen, seeing the vicious messages Julian had sent from his phone. He understood now why Owen had asked if he was there to deliver money. The words extortion, cheap, and plaything burned on the screen. As awful as they were, Caleb felt a strange sense of relief. When these messages were received, Leo was already dead. He never saw them. Leo floated nearby, his lips pressed together. Caleb read for a long time, then opened the Notes app. He read the diary entries with even more focus. The officer cleared his throat, gently reminding him that the body was at the morgue. If they were late, like the wind, Caleb drove faster than Leo could fly. He reached the crematorium just as Leo's body was being consumed by flames. Leo watched curiously through the small window as his physical form slowly disappeared, his existence being erased from the world. That's not him. Leo's not dead, Caleb murmured, clutching the phone. Because he hadn't seen the body, he could cling to denial. Jack stood beside him, his eyes red. He had liked Leo, a brotherly affection, from the moment he met him. He had been annoyed by Caleb's jealousy, but now he was filled with regret. He slapped himself. Damn it, I should have taken him to the hospital. But he knew, as well as anyone, that the disease was incurable. Caleb tore down the police tape and stayed in Leo's condo. Every corner held a memory. At the small bar, Leo had made him a terrible cocktail. Caleb had been about to be brutally honest, but then he saw the hopeful, shining look in Leo's eyes and softened his words. Who taught you? Tastes. Interesting. Leo had been so proud, boasting that he'd learned it himself. Caleb had drained the glass. Leo got angry, saying he'd told him to save a sip. Caleb had looked at him, his voice husky. I did. He had pulled Leo onto his lap and kissed him, A deep, lingering kiss. He hadn't lied. Leo had tasted the sweetness. And the small swing chair in the corner, Leo's favorite spot. He would wrap himself around Caleb, who would make a token effort to push him away. Caleb had actually been good to him. Aside from calling him dramatic, there wasn't much else. Even though he had said some horrible things in the days before Julian's return, Leo couldn't bring himself to blame him. He was the one who had been too greedy. He was meant to be a substitute, but he had wanted more. There was no funeral. Jax wanted to arrange one, but Caleb refused. He said Leo wasn't dead. Julian was also making a scene, but Caleb completely ignored him, no matter how much he threatened to harm himself. He didn't even have the energy to confront him about the texts or the lying investigator. He had known Julian was monitoring him. He just never imagined he could be so cruel. Why had someone like that saved his life? Caleb would rather Julian had never saved him. Then he wouldn't have been blackmailed into this loveless engagement, forced to pretend to love only Julian. But if Julian hadn't saved him, he would have died in the ocean, and he never would have met Leo. It was an impossible, tragic loop. Caleb spent his days at the police station, asking over and over about the details of Leo's death, if he had left any last words. The officers eventually gave up trying to make him leave. That evening, an officer's wife came to deliver dinner. A gentle-looking woman, she knew a little about the case. Such a shame, she sighed. He looks just the same as he did when he was a boy. So beautiful. The old saying is true, beauty and tragedy go hand in hand. The officer looked at his wife. You know him? Don't you remember? That time we went to Ocean Beach. He was just a little thing pretty as a picture, and he pulled that taller boy out of the surf. You praised him for being so brave. The woman smiled at the memory. I remember the boy he saved was handsome too. I wonder... Her voice trailed off as she saw the tall figure of Caleb standing before them. Oh, that was you, wasn't it? You look the same too. Caleb's voice was a raw whisper. The person who saved me in the ocean was Leo? The officer slapped his forehead. I remember now. It was him. What a fateful connection. What a tragedy. Caleb demanded every detail. 12 years ago, he had nearly drowned. Leo, who grew up by the sea, had dragged him to shore. There were other boys with Caleb that day. He vaguely remembered a handsome boy coming to take Caleb away. Leo had forgotten the incident entirely. He never imagined that boy was Caleb, or that Julian would steal the CR for saving his life, holding him hostage with that lie for 12 years. Caleb nearly strangled Julian. Leo had never seen him so angry. It was Jax who pulled him off. Don't kill him. You don't want that filth bothering our Leo in the afterlife. Then he spat. No, wait. Leo's in heaven. This thing is going straight down. Something in Jax's words made Caleb release his grip, a joyful, almost insane light in his eyes. Jax watched him with growing unease. At the cemetery, Caleb and Owen met. Owen, now aware of the twisted situation, still had no kind words for him. The day before he died, he collapsed on the street, nearly got hit by a car. Even then, he wouldn't let go of the gift bag in his hand. He told me it was a birthday present for his boyfriend. The one you're wearing, right? Owen gestured to the bracelet on Caleb's wrist. It was a custom piece, an intertwining snake design made from the first letters of their names. Caleb looked down at it. It was the 4th birthday gift he'd found at the head of Leo's bed. They had been just 1 day shy of 4 years together. He just murmured, yes. Owen continued, his voice sharp with accusation. Did you know? He got the diagnosis the day he died. He was crying. I thought he was scared of dying. But he was worried about his boyfriend being sad, about no one being there to take care of you, about you not being able to find another substitute as easy to manage as him. He spat the last word with contempt. The first snow of winter fell. Jax never stopped watching Caleb, knowing his friend better than anyone. One day, as the dead leaves of autumn were buried under a blanket of white, Caleb joined them in the cold earth. The snow covered the desolate ground and the two adjacent graves. Leo and Caleb floated together in front of the headstones, a strange, shared silence between them. Leo tilted his head. Does this count as growing old together? Caleb didn't answer. He was thinking, did he deserve it? But seeing the expectant look in Leo's eyes, he finally replied, "We are in the snow together." Leo smiled at him. "Caleb, I love you so much. Do you know that?" After a long pause, a very low yes was heard. Just one word, but Leo could hear the shyness in it. Caleb was so used to being tough, so unpracticed in words of affection. Leo was unsatisfied. "You have to say you love me too." "Yes, I'm dead. Can't you just say it?" "I'm sorry," Caleb whispered, his long lashes casting shadows on his cheeks. He leaned forward, and an invisible kiss landed on Leo's eyelids. "I don't deserve to love you, but I do." The kiss was ephemeral. They could not touch, but Leo's heart still fluttered.